ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel, Oxide Magic, and it's Jordan here. And we got a bit of an unusual Deck Tech Tuesday for you. This is a list that I've seen being played by Superladman, shout out to that guy in his channel, who plays a lot of Magic the Gathering online on the Xbox, or Magic Duels as it may be more commonly known. And this is Grixis control for standard, and this is for the current standard on Magic Duels. But I actually saw it and thought that actually looked really fun to play. Now, can I adapt it for the current standard? Because as I'm not going to get into a major rant now because I could have easily ran away for about 20 minutes, but Magic Duels has its own effectively format. It basically runs standard as is from Magic Origins, but then has a load of extra cards from previous sets, such as land bases and stuff like that, that aren't standard legal, but are legal in terms of what is playable, plus their standard doesn't rotate. So anyway, moving on, this is Grixis Control. Now, to begin with, basically it is heavily spell-based, and basically is only one creature, and that one creature is one off of Torrential Gearhulk. The big flash artifact creature that basically just comes in and can cast instants from the bin. It's definitely one to look at. But basically the entire idea of this deck is that this is sort of a very much late win condition if you need it. So, to begin, in the other slots we have 4 off of Renegade Map. Benefit with this, that it is an artifact. It can colour fix us as well, but it's generally useful mainly for Fatal Push. We run a 2 off of that. Basically, it is instant removal. We also can crack the Renegade Map to trigger the other condition on Fatal Push, which allows us to kill a 4-drop or less in terms of creatures. We run a 2 off of Shock. Basically, you're either using this to kill your opponent, hit your opponent, or hit a creature. We also run 2 off of Pull from Tomorrow. This is basically a late game refill your hand card. You want to be doing it ideally for like X's 5 and upwards, but definitely a card that is worth playing, because all you have to do is ditch one card, and generally you might pull a land and you can get rid of it out of your hand. We then have a 3 off of Anticipate. Now, in terms of what the actual original deck was doing, they actually had Telling Time, which is very much better to use, because it would sort of colour scry fix you and various things like that. So we have to work with Anticipate. That is our only sort of 2-drop alternative that we can run that is standard legal for now. We then have 2 off of Censor, 3 off of Harness Lightning. We have 2 off of Dynavolt Tower. This is one of the win cons. We are running a heavily spell-based deck. This can sort of get around us being able to do things and lightning bolt creatures or lightning bolt our opponent to the face. We then have a 2 off of Fevered Visions. This is giving us card draw, dealing damage to one of our opponents. Then have a playset of Dismissal. Now, this differs from the original list. He was running Broken Concentration and Scattered to the Wind, but I actually quite like Dismissal better. It hits lots more things, especially in terms of triggers as well. We then have a 2 off of Unlicensed Disintegration. This, in conjunction with the Renegade Map, allows us to deal damage to our opponent. We then have a 1 off of Radiant Flames. This just allows us to board wipe quite nicely and get rid of things. We then have a 2 off of Glimmer of Genius. Again, generates energy. It also allows us to scry and then draw 2, which is really sweet. And it's instant speed as well, so we can do an opponent's end step. We then have 2 off of Yahenni's Expertise. Basically a not so good Languish that allows us to cast a spell from hand for free, so it is rather sweet. We then have a 1 off of Chandra, Torture, Defiance. Decent Planeswalker. It can ramp us, it can deal damage, it can get rid of creatures on the board. If you get to the ultimate, which is one of the ideal goals of this deck, we can then start causing serious damage to the opponent. We then have 1 off of Jace, the Unraveler of Secrets. Basically, he's a draw engine for us. That's what we want to do. Again, if you can get to the ultimate, we can then effectively our opponent has to be cast 2 spells to do anything in a turn. It can effectively shut down some decks quite nicely. We then have a 1-off of Cruel Reality. This is one of the other main conditions for winning. Basically, at the beginning of our opponent's upkeep, they're going to have to sacrifice a creature or a planeswalker, and if they can't, they lose 5 life. So effectively, we are doing it in terms of we're keeping the board as clear as possible, so it's going to cause them to have 5 damage a lot of the time. And the final card we have is 1-off Commit to Memory. This just allows us to remove something off the board, or even put a spell that's being cast second from the second card into the library. We then have the other side of Commit to Memory, which is the memory part, which basically effectively shuffles the graveyards and hands into the decks, and you get to draw 7. It can be really sweet and very helpful, especially for resetting sort of hands and decks and boards and various things like that. Moving on to the land base, this is where it got very tricky, because originally they were running 2 Drowned Catacomb, 2 Sulphur Falls and 2 Dragon Skull Summits. However, they are not standard legal. So in replace, I have chose to use Fetid Pools, Spirebluff Canal and Canyon Slough. Reasons I've chose these ones is effectively I figured that the new Amonkhet cycle lands can give us card draw late game if we need it. But Spirebluff Canal is the instant sort of best option. Someone did say, why don't you put 1 Ephemeral in, but I just thought Spirebluff's better. So it's definitely something to look at. The other sort of lands that we use a 3-off of Aether Hub. This just allows us to colour fix quite nicely. We also have a 1-off of Evolving Wilds. This will just help us go get the basic land that we're missing or needing. And then we run 5-off of Island, 3 Mountains and 2 Swamps. So that's pretty much it in terms of the main deck. Now, in Magic Duels, you don't have a sideboard because you only ever play 1 game. So there is no sideboard. So the best sideboard I've sort of thought of that we can run with this deck is, I'm thinking a 3-off of Lost Legacy. This allows us to remove against combo decks such as Aetherworks and Mardu vehicles. So it definitely does a job there. We are running a 1-off of Dispossesses. This just effectively hits the Mardu vehicle deck as well as getting around the Aetherworks Marvel deck as well. And then we have another 2-off of Magma Spray.
Hold up.
Basically, we want these in to be exiling creatures from the board. And then we have 3-off of Negate. This just allows us to go up against the control matchup quite nicely. We then have 3-off of Torrential Gearhulks. Now, the reason why I'm running a 3-off of Torrential Gearhulks in sideboard is Torrential Gearhulks are very useful against the control matchup, so it can come in very handy. And then we have a 2-off of Sweltering Suns. Now, this is just again for board wipes. We want to keep the board as clear as possible, and that is the main goal of the deck. So Sweltering Suns does a very good job. Radiant Flames is good, but I do find Sweltering Suns is a bit better. I think it would be tempting to sort of take Radiant Flames out of the main board and put Sweltering Suns in instead. But I've been playtesting it and actually find Radiant Flames is quite sweet, because I may not want to sink all my mana into doing something. You know, I might want to be doing multiple things a turn. So, you know, it can work out. Depends how it works out. So, anyway, this is a deck tech for Tuesday, and I have been your host, Jordan. And I would like to say, please check out the rest of our videos on the channel. We've got lots of things going on at the moment. And please, please, please leave a comment below. I'm happy to answer any questions. This is obviously a bit of an unusual list for me. I'm not a huge control player, but it's a list I'm looking forward to trying out, and I'll have to let you know when I go to my next FNM, because I pretty much got all the cards for it now, which is sweet, so I'm definitely going to try it out. So anyway, guys, this has been Oxhead Jordan signing off. Catch you guys later. Thank you for watching the video. Please remember to hit that like button, it supports the channel for free. Also subscribe, and remember, if you don't want to miss any videos, hit the bell icon right next to the subscribe button. Thank you for watching again. Goodbye.